Hey everyone, seeing as a lot of people enjoyed my last Pokémon video, link in the pinned comment if you haven't seen it yet, and I love the series, I figured I'd make another one. This time I'll be covering my personal picks for the top 10 shiny Pokémon you probably didn't know existed. This will include some event-only shinies, unobtainable shinies from older games, and shinies with particularly low encounter rates, among other things. If you like the video, feel free to like it, subscribe for more Pokémon and Nintendo videos. Without further ado, let's start with number 10. Gen 3 is one of the most beloved in the franchise, and a lot of people enjoy shiny hunting the starters. If you're unfamiliar, you don't see if your starter is shiny until you send it out to battle against the Poochyena that's harassing Professor Birch. And that Poochyena has the same chance to be shiny as your starter, which is 1 out of 8,192. So if you're particularly lucky, or unlucky seeing as you can't catch it, you may end up encountering a shiny one during your hunt.
If they're gonna make a oh my god. I swear to god, man, these pooches. Shiny pooch. Alright, let's check the Torchic. It is not shiny.
Shiny Pokémon were officially introduced in Generation 2, however you can actually still get shinies in the first gen. Even though you won't be able to tell from the sprite itself, you can tell by the stats of the Pokémon. In Gen 2, whether or not a Pokémon will be shiny is determined by its stats, so finding a Pokémon with the same stats in Gen 1 and transferring it over will make it a shiny. The stat that determines if a Pokémon will be shiny or not in Gen 2 is called a DV, a precursor to IVs. Without going into boring amounts of detail, if you catch a Pokémon with these specific stats in Gen 1 and transfer it into any other gen, it'll be shiny. Attack must be either 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14 or 15, with its defense, speed and special attack all being 10. There is a lot more information about Generation 1 shiny hunting, so if you want a full breakdown, I'd recommend watching How to Shiny Hunt in Generation 1 by Shiny Collector.
Did someone say Pokémon?
Holy crap, it's Ash Ketchum. How's life been treating you since you finally left the TV show after 25 years?
As much as I enjoyed being 10 years old for the past few decades, it was time to move on. Me and Pikachu have been chilling. Life has been a lot quieter since there's no more Team Rocket to battle.
Well, all good things come to an end. But enough of that depressing nonsense, it's time to rank some Pokémon.
Let's do it! I invited a good friend of mine to join us, but it seems like he's running late, so let's just start without him.
Alright, next up is Shiny Unknown. More specifically, the final 2 you unlock. These are weird little things.
Yeah, I never understood those little guys. Thankfully, Cynthia taught me all about them a while back. They can take on over 28 different forms.
Supposedly they take the forms of letters. And Ash, can you slide me Cynthia's phone number on the down low?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, it was worth a shot. Anyway, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, once you've painstakingly collected 26 of the 28 unknown forms around the region by following the mysterious transmissions and completing various puzzles, you'll need to do an additional 4 puzzles using the Move Flash, the legendary Ho-Oh, a water stone and an escape rope.
Once you've done all of that work, you can go back to the research center. Then after speaking to one of the scientists, he will tell you that 2 more unknown symbols have been discovered. Then finally, after all of that work, you can begin to shiny hunt them. This one makes it onto the list because, well, who's gonna do all that work just to hunt a shiny that doesn't even look good? My shiny Noctowl was way better than this thing.
Hey dudes, how's it going, Ash?
Oh hey Finn, it's good to see you!
What the hell? It's Finn from Adventure Time. I'm a huge fan of your show. I didn't know you were a Pokémon fan.
Oh man, I absolutely love Pokémon. Me and Jake used to have the craziest battles in Pokémon Coliseum on the GameCube back in the day. I used to absolutely whoop the Ice King's ass with my Charizard.
Hang on a second, guys. Someone is requesting to join the call. Let me just accept it right quick. Don't worry everyone, I kicked him. But enough messing around, we need to continue this video or we'll be here all day.
Roger that, Captain.
Alright, next up I'm gonna say the shiny or peculiar Ponyta in Pokemon Legends Arceus.
This is one of the only guaranteed shiny Pokemon in the entire series.
Can we all agree that Legends Arceus is an absolute banger? My least favorite part of Pokemon is the stupid evolution trades, and Arceus removed that feature.
Yeah, nowadays with online trades, the trade evolutions aren't as bad, but back in the day, or especially returning to an old Pokemon game nowadays and needing to find someone else who just so happens to need a Pokemon you have in a 10-plus-year-old game can be a nightmare. I just want a Gengar, damn it.
Yeah, it was either that or just owning 2 copies and having 2 consoles.
I never had that problem. Me and Jake would always trade back and forth until we got all the evolutions we needed.
But anyway, the shiny Ponyta request is obtained from the request board in the Galaxy Hall.
You'll need to go to Horseshoe Plains. Then keep your eye out for a Ponyta with blue flames instead of the normal red ones. Then boom, you've got yourself a guaranteed shiny.
The Gen 2 shiny Gyarados is similar to this, but I'd say the Ponyta is less known about. Pretty much everyone who's really into Pokemon has that Lake of Rage Gyarados by now.
It's Gyarados, dumbass, not Griados. And did you say Gengar?
Yeah, sorry. My text-to-speech software can't pronounce the names of Pokemon for shit.
Okay, enough breaking the fourth wall. Let's move on.
During my first ever playthrough of Pokemon Black, Professor Juniper's Minccino in the intro cutscene was a shiny. So that's going to be my pick for number 6.
I'd be so mad if I ever came across an uncatchable shiny, especially a cute one like Minccino. Although my shiny Noctowl was pretty sweet.
You're always flexing that Noctowl, Ash. You do realize I have a shiny Beware, right?
Well, I have a shiny Dialga, so both of you can shut it.
The mystery gift shiny Dialga from Black and White doesn't count, you knucklehead.
On a side note, are you guys looking forward to Halloween?
I can't wait! Me and Jake have the coolest Mario and Luigi costumes.
I haven't been trick-or-treating in a few years, but I absolutely can't wait to play the new Silent Hill 2 remake. Never been so hyped for a video game in my life, except Pokemon Legends ZA.
Me too. Mega Evolution's coming back is gonna go crazy.
Finn!
What the hell just happened? Why did he leave?
Oh crap! He's been trying to avoid Princess Bubblegum for weeks now. Ever since he met Flame Princess, she's been acting weird.
Well, that's a shame. I guess we can just continue for now.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Also, Ash, how would you feel if we went through some comment questions in the next video? If anyone has any questions for me or any guests in my videos, then feel free to comment it, and I'll get to as many as I can.
That sounds like fun.
Okay, I'll go first. What's your favorite Pokemon generation?
It's gotta be Gen 1. Not only did it start the entire franchise off, it's got some of the most recognizable Pokemon of all time. The Goat Pikachu, Snorlax, Charizard, Mewtwo, Eevee, and loads more.
That's a respectable choice. The games have their flaws, to put it lightly. But the original 151 is my favorite collection of Pokemon too.
Oh yeah, the first few games definitely didn't age very well. From Psychic Pokemon being overpowered, Special Attack being linked to speed, and the lack of types, among other things. But it laid out the foundation for the entire series.
Holy shit, how are we only halfway through this list? We need to speed this up. This is taking forever to edit. I swear if this video gets 50 views like all my others, I'm gonna cry. Okay, let's speed through these next few entries in the list, as there isn't much to explain.
When you first start out on your adventure in Generation 3, you meet a shy wannabe Pokemon trainer called Wally. He says he's planning on moving to Verdanturf Town, but he wants to catch a Pokemon before he leaves. Your dad, Norman, the Petalburg gym leader, asks you to help Wally catch his first Pokemon.
You then borrow his Zigzagoon and head out to find some tall grass. Wally will always find a Ralts during this encounter, but if you're super unlucky, it's possible for it to be shiny. For some reason, it reverts to its normal colors whenever you battle Wally later in the game, so you'll never see the shiny again after that.
Man, shiny Gardevoir is awesome. The light blue and white contrasts very well together.
Okay, so, shout out to Professor Rex on Reddit for this next entry. I've personally never played Pokemon Battle Revolution, so I'll be reading off one of their Reddit posts and adding commentary, because they perfectly explain how bizarre this shiny hunt is. So the Reddit post says, and I quote, "You need to first beat the main story to unlock the costumes. Some of the Colosseums have leaders with Pokemon-themed costumes, which can be shiny. To keep the shiny costume, do not unlock the normal version. The costume is unlocked by beating the entire Colosseum and leader wearing the costume. So to reset for this hunt, you have to beat the Colosseum up to the leader, check their costume, then reset. The perfect point system can be used for resetting the costume's shininess. This allows you to see multiple costumes in one Colosseum challenges. I was not aware of this until I accidentally found the shiny using a perfect point. This is a very long hunt with the shortest costume taking 10 to 15 minutes per reset. Other costumes are much longer. So firstly, whoever has attempted this is absolutely insane.
Wow, shiny outfits? I've never heard of this before. 15 minutes per attempt is absolutely ridiculous. Imagine having to reset thousands and thousands of times for that.
Yeah, I thought the Gen 6 shiny starter hunt was long and tedious, but this is just on another level.
The outfits do look awesome at least, but unless you have an unbelievable amount of free time, I wouldn't go for this one.
Agreed.
Assuming every attempt took 15 minutes, and the post says he has over 8,000 attempts, that's about 12,000 minutes, or 200 hours, for one shiny.
When exploring the Pokémon Tower in Lavender Town for the first time, you'll come across a ghost blocking your way that can only be seen using the Sylph Scope. This turns out to be the restless spirit of a Marowak who died protecting her baby Cubone, which is pretty dark for a Pokémon game, might I add.
Once the mirage disappears, and the Marowak takes its place, there's a chance for it to appear as a shiny. The game doesn't play the shiny sparkles that usually appear when you encounter one, and you won't be able to catch it, because it's a ghost. Not to mention you'll need to take it out if you want to progress the game's story. I'll never forgive Team Rocket for doing this to that poor Cubone and its mom.
Yeah, seeing that it's Gen 1 you can't actually see shinies from the sprite, but as I explained briefly earlier in this video, Pokémon in Gen 1 can be shiny if it has a certain IV. So the dead ghost Marowak can absolutely be a shiny if you're lucky. For number 2, I'm going to say the various Pokémon Go event shinies. I couldn't pick my favorite, but Birthday Cake Pikachu is a particularly cool looking one. Needless to say, having to wait until a specific event is active to even be able to shiny hunt these guys is a pain.
Yeah, shiny hunting Pokemon that are available year-round can be annoying on its own, but adding a time limit and special event on top of that makes it pretty stressful. It's like having a big time limit.
Okay, for the most part, this list hasn't been in any particular order, but I did save my favorite and what I consider the most insanely difficult shiny to hunt in Pokemon history. This is more an explanation of the method than the actual shiny itself being anything interesting, so buckle up.
Yeah, if you thought spending 200 hours hunting shiny outfits was insane, you haven't seen anything yet.
Here's a very brief explanation before I go into detail. Shout out to Pass on Reddit for this next section, as they made an incredible helpful shiny hunting guide a few years ago.
Firstly, Manaphy is a pretty obscure Pokemon for the most part, with very few ways to obtain it, one being in Legends Arceus where it is shiny locked. You could have also gotten a Manaphy egg as a pre-order bonus when buying Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl.
Okay, real quick, BDSP sucked, but wow, those pre-order figures go stupid hard. Might have to check eBay for those later. Another way to get a Manaphy is the one used for the shiny hunt. In the spin-off game Pokémon Ranger, you can do a mission called Rescue Manaphy's Egg, once per cartridge, after beating the main story. If the cartridge you're playing on has already redeemed it, then you're out of luck.
Here's a quote from the Reddit post you mentioned earlier. Game Freak originally intended for the Ranger Manaphy egg to be shiny locked. They coded it so that when you transfer a Manaphy egg into a Gen 4 game, it's given a personality value that can't create a shiny on the file it's originally transferred to. But because shininess is determined by matching a Pokemon's personality value with a certain trainer ID's secret ID, it is possible for a Manaphy egg to be shiny on a different file, since its personality value is now set and it's only shiny locked on the original game it's transferred to. So, to hunt Manaphy, you must trade eggs back and forth between two games, resetting the saves each time to generate new IDs while hatching the eggs on each file to check for a shiny. In addition, because of the way the eggs are coded, the Manaphy that appears in the hatch animation will never be shiny, even if the Manaphy is shiny. To check for shininess, you must check the info screen in your party.
Here's what you'll need for this hunt. 2 Nintendo DS consoles, 2 copies of Pokémon Diamond or Pearl, and a Manaphy egg. You can have up to 4 though, which means you'll also need a copy of Pokémon Ranger that's never been played before, ideally.
Another quote from the Reddit post. Once you get the games, all that's left to do is access the eggs. If you're lucky, you'll get at least 1 or 2 copies that have already been played through, and you can simply complete the Manaphy mission to get the egg. But you'll likely have to play through some or all of the Pokémon Ranger story at least once or twice. Fortunately, it's a pretty fun game, and can be completed in a day or 2 without too much trouble.
So to hunt for this one shiny Pokémon, you need 2 consoles and 3 games minimum. Then you'll have to trade back and forth over and over and over, checking the info screen every time because it doesn't have the shiny sparkles animation. All that for a shiny that doesn't even look that good. No thanks. And that just about does it for this video. Thanks to Ash and Finn for joining me today. Like the video if you liked it, comment suggestions or ideas, and have a good one. I'm going to bed. Peace, Ash.
Thanks for having me. Take care, everyone.